Okay, pilots, I got my Trojan sitting here. Okay, a few little points I'm gonna make to you right quick before we start building. I was checking, if you remember in my unboxing video, my rudder kept making a popping, cracking noise. Well, a split, it done started from right here all the way down, started separating the foam hinge. So I've got hinge tape in a piece here, and I also put a piece over here because my hinge tape is kind of thin. So I think I've got that took care of. All right, now let's get us down here. I was gonna show you, I'll make sure I have it high enough. But right here, it started splitting right there, all the way down, okay? So I put me a piece of hinge tape here on the other side, piece of hinge tape here on the other side. See? But now I'm gonna put a receiver on it just to test things out, and I'm gonna see what color these lights are here before I dig them out, and kind of find out they was the other way around or something. You never know. So I'm just gonna take a 6-channel receiver that I use to test stuff with. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put the throttle in. I'm gonna check that front landing gear too. Alright, let's see. Gear. Rudder. I don't want the rudder. I just want the gear. Checking my polarity. I'm going to have to go get my glasses. I'll put that in channel 6 right now. Let me go get my glasses if they're not laying here. Nope. That's the elevator. I'll go ahead and look at it. Make sure everything's centered, I guess. Okay. So that will be elevator and number 2. Alright, I got rudder. Now that'll be this servo right here. At least I'll have it centered. It's number 4. Checking my polarity. And this, I see one light wire. Oh, okay, I see what they've done. They've put it on a wire harness back there. Yep, that's what it is, on a wire harness. So we're just gonna stick it. Wait a minute, I got that in the battery. Or bind plug, excuse me. Put my retracts, I'll go ahead and put them back on number 5. And just plug this light in. Checking my polarity on that light for sure. Micro zone, by the way, if you want to know. And then we're going to put this 3-cell in. Making sure I plug up the right ESC. Yep. Okay. You got a white light at the top. I know it's hard to see that. White light at the top, red light at the bottom. And note the red light's not strobing. Okay. So what I'm gonna have to do then is check a few things here. Check my servos. Which way is it moving? Let's see it moving in the right direction. Let's see what this one's doing. That one's moving in the right direction. Okay, pretty good there. But I still got to dig these lights out. Wait a minute. I forgot something. Let's see, is it this one? Nope. Is it this one? It's that one. Uh-oh. My door's hung. My door's hung. Oh. Hold all that in. Oh my goodness. They glued that cow pile on there way too far in. Let's overlap them doors. Uh-oh, pots. Let me do something with that. Let's overlap them doors a bit there. Let me get you in on that one. I can do that without a battery in there. Ain't worth nothing. I'm gonna have to, I hope a razor blade will cut that. I'll show it to you in just a second. Let me get prepared. Let's see if I can get this phone out of here without turning it off. Okay. All right. Note the lip of the cow here. Overlapping. Dadgum light. Come on now. It's overlapping it. Now they either glued the cow too far back because these doors are lining up good in the back. Pretty good. But this one's overlapping. So I'm gonna see if I can get this cut here. It's gonna be a precise cut. This stuff's not really thick, but I don't know if this blade's gonna go through. It might take me a couple times across there. Wouldn't really want to take the cow off of it. Well, maybe so. Okay, pilots is just something you run into once in a while, maybe. Let me get a line on this side. That's how much I took off. Let me show you just a little bit more right here. Got that spring-loaded door system. Now sometimes pilots, what I'll do is I'll take me a little bit of Vaseline and put it on hinges and places where it might be rubbing, because they'll be stiff like that sometimes. That's how much I had to cut off our pilots, just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna leave them up. I got some digging back here to do. Now, pilots, I'm not complaining. Not complaining about the LEDs in the situation now. It's just that I'm different, Okay, so what I had to do on the bottom, I went ahead and started digging it out. So, let's get rid of this. What I've done on the bottom, it's glued in pretty good, pilots, and it won't go back through. It's been put in from the top. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that in here because I'm going to set up everything, just test. I got to test the wing too. But it's glued in there pretty good, pilots. So me knowing that I'm going to have to put these lights, a light bulb that's just the same size pretty much, I got to be careful about going around the edges here and break and splitting the glue away. See? So I just take that 90-degree out and I go right around the bulb, and you'll feel that glue. You'll feel it, especially around that seam. Right, that seam's always got a little bit sticking to it too. Yep, right there at that seam. Where's that? So I'm going to go down into that seam right there, all the way down. Turn my owl up underneath the bulb and see if I can pull it out. Since I've went around the bulb and broke glue loose, it shouldn't really rip a whole big chunk out, pilots, It should come out. And if it does, I can just take my two-part epoxy and make a little rim around my bulb that I put in it. It'll be alright. I've done it before. But like I said, these things is glued in pretty good. They ain't going nowhere unless you force it like I'm doing. Come on, baby. Come on, ice cream. Man, that's a big old bulb. Goodness gracious, that thing's a half an inch thick down through there. No wonder it won't come out. Like pulling a largemouth bass out of a pond. Okay. Yep, it's in there. I want you to look the size of that bulb, Pop. I just want you to look the size. Now, I don't know how in the world they've done it, pilots, but they put these bulbs in somehow, some way they've done it like that. And got that thing on a wire harness back up in there. Bulbs go to the outside. Now this is going to be a trick. This is going to be a trick. And it's not plugged. I don't see a plug on. So the white light I'm going to use. So I'm going to leave that lead on the white light. I'm going to flip this red light over and I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to cut it because I'm not going to be using it. Let my ESC. Not going to be cut. I'm not going to be using it, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I got power off my radio. I don't need that no more. Now I tried to come up from underneath here, but you just can't get the angle. I ain't got a screwdriver here. It's got just literally, I've took and bent the shy, and I couldn't get that up underneath there and kind of get in that hole and push it out. Now, if I've broke the bulb, if I've snapped the lead, or you know, it's just all there is to it. Not much I can do. But I've got other. Like I said, I'm going to take this red one out that does not strobe, and I'm putting one in it that does strobe. Now, all I'm doing is I'm trying to keep my bulb straight up and down instead of letting it go into an angle as I'm pulling up. I'm trying to hold it and keep it straight. It's coming. Just kind of try to take it easy because I might use this light if it still works on something else. Give myself here enough lead to join it up with something else. I'm going to reach in here, cut it in here. Okay. Trying not to cut the other one off. I'm not going to worry about the other red light I've got here, because I'm just going to run that lead separately all the way up to the receiver, and then I'll split and put everything all together. And that's what I do with them. I know what I can do. I've been kind of saving this big red bulb here, because I got a big red bulb in that 11 Hobby up here. That's that extra big one. Oh yeah, it's that extra big one in that 11 Hobby, so I'm going to put this extra big one in my banana Hobbies. Check the size of that one out now, Pops. Don't tell me you ain't gonna see that beacon in the middle of the night. Let's dye it. Ooh, I don't want to use that one. Check it out, Pops. I finally found me a big Sharpie red. And I'm gonna use that. I use that for my spinner on something. So I'm taking a red Sharpie here. Well, no wonder I bought a new red one. Yep. Okay, yeah, I guess we will be using our new red one. Big wide stroke. I got to let this dry when I'm getting that white one flipped around there. Give it a few minutes to dry, pilots, because if you touch this right after you've done this, it just wipes that red right off. I mean, like you didn't even put it on. But it's transparent. And I'll just take that big bulb and put it over that big hole I made. Look like factory, I tell you. My story and I'm sticking to it. Alright, this thing is a Lacey long, nice long lead. And it strobes. It's got its own strobe in it. FMS 182 trainer LED set. Red light inside there, strobe. You don't need to hook no controller up or nothing, it just strobes. There's sometimes navigation lights are strobed themselves. I don't know why they do it, but they do. Alright, now we've got to pull this out. And I hope that plug will go through that hole. I'll tell you. Let me see here. This is turned into a long one. If it pulls that plug off, pilots, I really don't matter. I'm going to be tying it into other ones anyway. I just want to try to see if I can get it up in there. I could if the styrofoam would stay out of the way so I could see. I know what that is. That's that seam glue. The seam glue and the label, that's what it was, the label. So that's the white light that's gonna go on the top, the bottom. And it's a pretty good sized bulb, pilots. It's a big one too. That ain't no normal size bulb. Let's see. This is a FMS bulb size that you get out of the 182 set. I'm trying to get them here. Where am I going? There we go. Okay. That's a pretty big bulb there, pilots. It's bigger. Now, I'm not kicking Dynam because I use those little ones too. But Dynam uses a little bit smaller ones. So I usually change the Dynam ones out, but I use those Dynam smaller ones in cockpits of jets and things. They fit good in there. Alright, now let my red dry. I need a white light. Let me flip this over. Yeah, that's good. Now all I have to do is stick this down in there and get rid of this. Let's see, where's my straight owl? I'll use a screwdriver. Take it, hopefully push it down in there. Now I'm going to take those two leads I just cut. And I'm going to try my best to get in here and cut one of the leads a little bit further back than I did the other one. Try to keep those from not ever touching. You know what I mean, Burr? Oh, sure. Oh, excuse me. Get that on in there. Don't matter which way it's facing, just get it in there. And there it went. Right in the hole. It's in the hole. It's in the hole. I'm going to take, let's see, I'm just going to use some regular foam tack here just to hold it in there until I get the epoxy on it. Just something to hold it in there, something to hold it in there. I'll take this, put it in there, and then I'll take out a epoxy and just run a bead right around it. And then I might take a black Sharpie and run it around that bead so it looks like maybe a black rim around it or something. Okay, looks good right there. That's what we want. Alright, now, while we're here, I'm eventually going to set this up on a Admiral 600 gyro. Set it up on my Spectrum DX8E where I can have my air brake set up. And the lights. Let's see if I'm going to be able to do this. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and get my wiring and everything run down to here. Now there's a special slot here, a hole in it for the air brake lead. It's going to go in a different hole than these others. And they've already got their wire harnesses hooked to it. It's already got flaps, gear, ailerons, and LEDs. Now, what I'm going to do, pilots, later on is I'm going to put my landing lights on the edge of the wing there, and I'm just going to tee it into that light that goes out to my nabs. I don't have to run lead all the way back up into the fuselage. That's why I'm going to do this one, because this also is run into a wire harness where one lead is running both lights. So I'm going to get this down into here. Pilots, you don't get instructions with this model, but you can download them if you need them. But I've put together 4 of them, so you can imagine. Well, actually, I'm wrong. I put 3 of them together. I bought the blue Centennial at Gyro already built. Bought it from the Hobby King hanger. I paid too much money for it. Now you can get it for less money than what I paid for it at the event. If you can find one. Okay. Goodness gracious, it was so simple. That's what scares me sometimes, folks. It's so simple. And then when you get to this part. Okay, I've got bags of control rods, a wire harness, control rods and horns, marked ailerons. Control horns and rods, marked flaps. We got control arms for elevator. I've got 4 big long wing bolts here. I hope. Because all the other ones I got here is some long ones for the rudder. It's got rudder on it. Got rudder written on that one with horns and the long coarse screw. But these are fine thread screws here. And there's 4 of them, and they're long. Okay. They are different. I got 2 that has They look like the same size as far as diameter, but they've got different shafts on them. One's got a thread that goes all the way up to the top of the head, and then just goes halfway there. Okay, so we're gonna have to swag at it. We're gonna swag at it. Let's see here. I'm putting the two with the half thread in the front. They seem to be falling in something. That fell all the way through. Let's see which one is longer here. Okay, that one's the one with the clean shaft is longer. So we're gonna swap them around. Long shaft screw in the front, shorter shaft screws. Wait a minute, I'm wrong. Yeah, no. Long one's in the back. Short one's in the front. I ain't hitting this. That's all the screws. So let's flip them back around again, I guess. Let's see if I go on something. Bit something. I got a nibble. I got a nibble. But they sure are tightening up pretty quick. I don't like it when a screw is already starting to thread when it's flush up against that inside liner. I got a bite there. Got a bite there. Like I said, Pops, you know, you don't get a manual. I could have looked it up and made sure. I got a little bit of suck in there, a little bit of suck in there, a little bit of suck in there. See, look over here, this one. Over here, this one. Now we're getting it. I guess that's what you gotta do. I got to look up in here. I forgot that. To make sure that our brake servo lead was coming through all the way through. Yep, that was pinching that. That's all the way in there. Yep. We got a good seal up here. A real good seal. Okay, we ain't knocked her light nowhere. That's good. That's good. Okay. Let's flip it over for a second. That glue's probably dry enough to hold it. Don't set it on it. Okay. Now we got a lot of wires coming up here. Now that. Oh, I know what that is. That come out of that ESC. Okay. Gear. We've got to wire harness our gear together. We've got a wire harness provided. And it's, see, look at, oh goodness, pilots, see, you got a label on it there. It says gear. this is already has a Y harness on it for the 2 mains. So we're Y harnessing it into the front gear now. And check these Y harnesses out. This is what I was talking about in the unboxing pilots. They finally decided to do something that would, you know, kind of keep our cockpits a little less bird nest like, where you just plug the ends into this adapter here instead of having a lead off it. Now, yes, you might need that lead for extension or something. Yeah, okay. Well, look at there. But Rich had to go in and tighten this thing. His pins up here, so I'm just going to take a hobby knife, if I can find it. Oh, it's in yonder. Dadgummit. I'll take my 90-degree Hal. It's pretty sharp. And I just want to push that little tooth down. Just the slightest bit of pressure, not too much, just the slightest bit of pressure on that little tooth towards the front of the plug. You'll see where those leads come through. You'll see that little tooth there. Just give it a little push down. And then we're checking our polarity. Putting one in there. It's in nice and tight. That's good. That's good. All right, we got our front gear. Now we've seen that it worked earlier. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna push my little tab down there just a little bit. Just putting a slice bit, a little pressure right on the end of that tab. Checking my polarity. Oh yeah, that's good and tight. Good and tight. There's our gear. So let's put our gear in number 5. Well, let's go ahead and wait just a second. Let's get our rudder. We got the Y harness our rudder in with the front wheel, which is not that one. This one. Uh-oh. 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 Yeah, that one. Okay. Rudder go. Rudder go. Rudder. I'm still getting plugged in. I'll put another Y harness on the rudder. There's my rudder Y harness. Pushing down a little bit on that tab. Checking my polarity. This is a white, red, and black lead going into a yellow, red, and brown. So I'm going white to the yellow. Good tight fit, good tight fit. You can tell. Okay. Now here's our rudder, our actual rudder lead. Now you see here, look, all right, now this is what I was talking about. We're gonna be pretty tight right here, okay? So a regular wind harness would rather be a better situation than this right here. So this is what I'm gonna do, pilot. Where's that? Uh-oh, I don't got. Okay, there it is. Alright, I'm going to put one that has some lead to it. Now if I knew exactly where I'd be putting that 600, I could see. I mean, I just don't think it's going to be pretty tight right there, Pop. This is going to be, that one's going to be stretched out there pretty good. Alright, we're going to take her out, push down on her rudder tabs there a little bit. Checking our polarity. Oh yeah, just snaps in there. Not pushes in, just it snaps in. Oh yeah. Okay, there's our rudder. Now we're looking at flaps. thing. We got a wiring harness in here for the LEDs, pilots. Okay. Well, actually, we don't have the wire harness. Yeah, that's my rudder when I picked it up. We don't have the wire harness or flaps. Okay, well, first one we're gonna do. The rudder back into number 4. That's the ESC, we ain't worried about that. Gear in number 5. Flaps in number 6. And we're looking for ailerons. Ailerons! Ailerons goes in number 1 on this one. Okay, now this receiver does not have but 6 channels, and I need 7 channels to put that air brake on. So for right now, I'm gonna take that wire harness that they put in that I replaced with a long one. I'm just going to hook it in with my flaps. That's what I was gonna do. That's why I was looking for the wire harness for the flaps. Checking my polarity. So when I put my flaps on, my air brake should come down. Now I won't set it up like that to fly with. I'll have it on a separate channel with that Admiral 600 gyro receiver. Once you get it bound and get your radio set up, you go in and you can turn the bind plug into a channel itself. Okay, checking the polarity, flip it around here. Got that in. Now, we've got lights. Got a wire harness for our lights. Still has 3 leads to it, you know, because sometimes your LEDs on, you know, you only have 2 leads, but this wire harness still has 3 leads. So we're gonna plug that in, checking our polarity, making sure our black lead is lined up with the brown wire. Now, I got to reach in there with my little fishing rod. Little one go. I'm gonna have to use my extra long one to grab this little wire right here at the end. That's okay. And again, pilots, if this light don't work, I got 2 more sets of LED lights, 182 trainer, FMS 182 trainer, but I've got 2 that I got to use those landing lights in, which is this one and my mystery plane. Not going in for some reason. It's not going in. Alright. Okay. Let's turn the radio on. 6 cell with the XT60. Leave that ESC alone. Oh shoot, I know what I'm gonna do. My ESC's leaving the floor. I had to put this in the throttle. Checking my polarity. Radio's on. Making sure I plug in the right ESC. Okay. Now my light is on the bottom, so I didn't turn the light up. It's working. Alright, pilots, I'm going to show you my canopy. I'm going to put it on. But you know what, nothing's going to be strapped down, no. Won't have no power to the motor, no powers to the motor. But right here, pilots, there's no pilot in this plane. So that's the Durafly jet pilot you can order. I think it's Durafly. And I painted his helmet up yellow. Now, you can do this two ways. Okay, you can take your canopy off, or you know, like I did this other one, I can just cut an oval in the bottom of it, glued the pilot to it, stuck it back up in there. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna cut this one, and then I'm gonna take the piece that I got out of the plane, and I'm gonna put it back into my Durafly Centennial. So I can have the hole from this cockpit put back up in this to fill this hole up. And the pilot will be in this one. Okay. Let's flip this over a second here. Let's check out the meat. Let's check out the meat. I hit the wrong one. Oh, the doors are tight and nice and tight right here. Some of them are a little loose, pilots, but all you gotta do is go in there and you bend. There's a rod. Let me show it to you. You see this little rod right here? See this little rod? Sometimes it doesn't push up against the tire enough to bring it. So just take your two sets of pliers, needle nose maybe, grab a hold down to the root and just kind of give it an upward bend. So that it'll be up against that tire a little bit more as it pulls it in. Now, when it comes up, don't be messing around with this door. It's got to be in that certain spot, because if a wheel comes down and hits the edge, you messed up. Okay? So don't be letting that door go in if it's kind of a little stiff. Kind of, work it a little bit back and forth and let that door be a little freer. But just make sure they opened up enough. And these two doors right here, like I said, that is a little bit needs a little Vaseline put on the hinge maybe. You just gotta check on those things. But once you get all those little bugs out, pilots, I mean, like new money. Okay, let's check out our brake. Let's see what we got here. Now my flaps is not going to come down because I don't have elbow and push rods on. But you can see the servo moving over there. See the servo moving over there? Now that's on a knob. If it's on flaps, it goes deep, and it go deep on landing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay, goodness gracious, we have 51 minutes. Let me get this tail on right quick. Leaving the landing gear down this time. Check out that little engine, radial engine. Now I've took some of them and painted them silver. I took some of them and leave them black. I'm gonna leave this in black because it looks good with that gray finish. And the Jolly Rogers skull and crossbow. So I'm just gonna leave that alone. Make sure my landing gear doors is not getting hit. You gotta mind them. Sometimes you just gotta set it back there. Mind my light. My light's not touching nowhere. My gear door's not touching, so I'm gonna leave that right there. Can't turn it sideways. That's okay. Now, first thing we want to do is we want to look up our elevator control rod. Because if you don't put that rod on there before you put this tail on there, it's kind of a little hard, kind of difficult. And if you like me and you want that little elbow to be to the inside, sometimes you even have to take the arm off of the servo, put the push rod on it, and then put it back onto the servo. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's on this side. But when you put your push rod onto a servo arm, pilots, and you bring it around and it flexes and it don't want to quite go over to the arm, don't be forcing it. That's why you put it and you turn it back over and you put your elbow on the inside so it will. So I mean, you know, I'm taking a gamble here, pilots. So I'm just gonna put it in. Now I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rich put it in the top hole in his elevator, but changed the ailerons to, I believe, the third hole in the middle hole. But for right now, pilots, what I do is I set them up just by the, well, not by the book because I don't have, but just got places there for horns. I can put my horns on later, ain't no problem. Now, like I said about the binding, that one feels like it moves back and forth over pretty good. Moves over back and forth pretty good. Oh goodness, I got that thing way up top. Okay. Now you've got holes here that's in this plastic mount for the joiner of the elevator control surfaces. Got holes in them, so I mean, you know, it's going to be a lot easier than trying to hold the backing on it while you're trying to. So I think this won't be no problem putting this on. So you got no spar. Your spar end is here, and the spar is already inside the elevator. And then you got this slot here you put it in. Okay. So we're gonna line that up. It's in the hole. Let's see if we can get a little bit further. We gotta get that wall there lined up. It's not lining up. Am I hitting something? Okay, I know what it is. I know what it is. I know what it is, Pops. What was that? I don't know what that was. A red dot. That must have been meaning red light. Okay. Okay, the elevator is not wanting to go all the way in. Okay. So what Rich said to do in that situation is this this carbon fiber rod needs to be pushed in a little bit further. Okay, so what I've got to do is I've got to find something here that I can use to push that in. Now, I'll hold this thing without crushing it. Okay. Can't use this one. Can't use the big Phillips head. The handle's too big to go in there. Oh, I can't do that. I just think that nothing I can hold on to here. I wished I had a screwdriver that had a a nut or, you know, a hex at the bottom of the shaft where you could put a wrench on it. I hope I ain't crushing that. Goodness gracious. But that thing ain't moving, Paul, so I hope I might have to do something else. That thing ain't moving. Well, it did move. It did move. It moved. Okay. Let me do that to the other one without destroying it. Please, Lord. Help me out, Lord. Just taking that screwdriver parts, that's all I can do. Sticking it up into that spar, grabbing a hold of it, you know, holding on to it, not, I mean, God, you know, oh. But I'm just sitting here with that hand and I'm just kind of giving it a good shove. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll have to go to the bathroom here a little bit. Never press up a urinal. Never trust a fart. That was the words of Robert D. Redford. And that's the way it is. Okay. Let's see if I can get this on the other side now. I'll keep my gear door from getting tore off. Get over on this side. You put a screw in from the bottom to hold these in. Let's go. Just needing a little love. Little love. Okay. I'll flip this over here. If we was out on the field, I'm close. I got to glue my big light in, but that's cool. I could go flying without my light. Ooh, look at our pots. I see screw holes on both sides lining up perfectly. Perfectly. I'm gonna look over here in my screw bags. Ooh, I wish I had some more screw bags. Just call them up and say, screw baby. Oh no. Oh, here they are. I got elevator screws marked with push rod horns and a backing and 2 long screws for it and 2 short screws for the elevators, the horizontals. Okay. Let's see if this Phillips head screw fits it. You always want to test your screwdriver. Make sure it's got a snug fit against the head of the screw. And it's magnetized. Okay, just want to get a bite for right now. Servo arm is just right out of the way. I mean, it's not any way at all. Unless, you know, it's off center. But that, I mean, you know, that's tight. Uh-oh, don't push my line. Don't push my line. My light's good. My light's good. I can't remember who it was that put a white light on the bottom of their plane pilots. I don't know if it was done by a manufacturer or somebody done it themselves, but that was the trick there, because you couldn't see them pretty good with that white light on the bottom of it. You could tell what was your bottom and what was your top. That was in there pretty good. Pretty good. Let's do something. Let's hit the brakes. Okay. Oh, just too sexy. Just too sexy. Okay, we'll leave them down. We got all of our surfaces done. I need to put horns and push rods in and pilots, and I'll be ready to go. I've got to wait. Pilots ordered my mystery plane, and a couple other parts for other planes. I ordered a canopy for a Hawker Hurricane that comes with the LED covers, you know, to put on your wing tips and your landing lights. Well, they didn't put that in their pots. So I got in touch with them and told them they didn't send me my LED covers. So I gotta wait on my LED covers. But there it is, pots. The new Banana Hobbies Jolly Rogers Trojan. And 1 hour flat. I'm out. What is wrong here? Well, I thought I was out, pilots. I'm out. I know it's recording.